He said, "Gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back,
I
jumping
don't know why
directly
you're
into the
laughing.
finals, jumping directly into the draft." Uh, Guile Esports versus Reborn. Unfortunately, Arctic Wolves had a issue with their roster, and they had to forfeit their matches, so Reborn moved into the finals. Easy win for Reborn. Guile Esports banning Wraith right off the bat, saying, "Get that hero out of here," which means Reborn most likely going to ban. I don't know who they're going to ban. I don't know who they're going to
Gideon.
ban. I mean, I feel like it should be Gideon.
It was Gideon, right? That looks like
Uh, it's a,
Gideon.
it's a totally an Aurora ban.
That looks like Gideon.
Could be Gideon, but I feel like it's an Aurora ban.
Okay. Well, I think we know who the first pick for Guile is going to be then.
Grux.
I think it might be the Fae.
I mean, let's don't get carried away.
Okay, I won't. In all
What's
honesty, it
gonna happen?
probably should be the Gideon for Guile Esports. Seeing that it's not been banned out in the bans, it's pretty obvious that Guile are going to continue this 100% pick ban rate tradition that we've seen in PCL 11. Just having that AoE stun is pretty ridiculous for a team.
Yeah, I just looked at chat. Cosby's a jerk. Is
I love
hundred
Tokyo
percent,
Cosmicolas.
100% pick rate for Gideon. Reborn. This means Shinbi's available. It means Shinbi's available, which is a thing, and that's I fully expected that. Reflect going to be picking up Shinbi there. It could be Jay Leo rocking Shinbi in the jungle, but I'm going to put that on Reflect. So we've got Shinbi picked up. We've got this is. Do they go with Grux or do we go with Rampage? Because Rampage, I think Rampage is stronger than Grux. Thank you. J. Leo Grande agrees. They're going to pick up Rampage. I definitely think Rampage is stronger than Grux in a competitive environment.
I think there's a big thing missing from this draft, though, and that's the Wraith. He's been banned out by Guile Esports, and remember that they just came off of 2 matches where they were the ones playing the Wraith, so obviously they realize how strong it is. I think the main thing that they realize here is that giving the Wraith over to a team with 2 picks in a row to start the draft is just not very great. So if they can ban out the Wraith to start, then they take a lot of the combo potential away from Reborn. That's going to change up this draft massively from the ones we saw before.
Who does Regal pick up for the offlane? Do we see? I mean, Aurora's gone. Shinbi's been picked up. Are we going to see Kwang or Feng? Or do we see something untraditional and do we see Grux in the offlane and or Severog in the
Yeah,
offlane?
we might
There's a
even
lot
see
of different
Sevarog
options.
is kind of what I was thinking.
Which I think Severog is a nasty offlaner. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult for him to stack, but I still think he fits actually really well in the offlane. So
And
we've got
that's
Drongo picked up on the side of Guile Esports. They're going to pick up their Marauder right now. I think that's a good pick. Taking Drongo away from Reborn. I think that's just a solid pick. So Ghost's going to be on Drongo. They've got their mid. They've got their. I was going to say they've got their mid laner. Lucer on Bellica. Gideon in the mid lane.
that's the thing about Gao's draft right now, though. Like, you don't really know where that Bellica is going to go, and that gives them a whole lot of flexibility in their draft. Is it going to be Regal playing it on the offlane? Is it going to be Lucer having the Bellica as a support? That's just what picking that kind of hero early in the draft does for you, and it makes Reborn kind of have to guess at what Guile are going for with their draft here. And another thing that hasn't been touched at all, Iggy and Scorch still here.
Murdoch picked up. Narbash picked up. Grux picked up on the side of Guile Esports. They've got Gideon. They've got Grux. Maybe I think they need to go Severog here. I think they need to go with a big-bodied hero because they don't have that tankiness. Grux is squishy. Drongo, Bellica, and Gideon are all squishy. They need to go with a Richter or they need to go with Severog and give them that big front line. And they're going to go with Severog. Severog, it looks like I'm going to guess Regal's playing Severog on the offlane here. Grux in the jungle with Edoc, Belica support, Gideon mid, and Drongo, of course, your Marauder.
It's
That is a
looking
nasty
pretty
draft for
good.
Guile Esports.
Yeah, that's.
So nasty.
I mean, sure, we don't see the Richter here at all, which is surprising in itself. And Reborn, I wasn't completely wrong.
What?
It wasn't.
What?
It wasn't first. It wasn't first. It wasn't banned, but it is the Fae for Reborn here. So I can pat myself on the back with that. That's pretty
I
good.
like that. I like that Faye pick. That means Faye mid lane on Involve. I love Faye. I think Faye is this hero that's just sleeper hero. I think nobody really gives this hero the love she deserves. I like it. I freaking like it. I do. I will say, Guile Esports may have won this draft.
Yeah, but think about it. Think about it. You got the Fae pulling everybody together for a long arm of the law. You get the crash bang boom right on top of it. I mean, that's a lot of damage there from Reborn if they can hit it. The main problem I see with the Fae is that she's not very mobile and can definitely get dominated by the Guile Esports squad, and that's really what Reborn are going to have to try to avoid in this game.
Well, I don't know about you. I think chat's ready. I know I'm ready. What do you say we jump into game number 1 of the finals?
Let's do it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Apologize. I'm back now.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 of the finals. Guile Esports versus Reborn. You saw the drafts. Let's introduce these players. Pith, I'll let you start, my friend.
I'll have the pleasure and honor of introducing Team Reborn here on the blue side. It's going to be Reflect playing the Shimby, Jay Leo himself playing a Rampage, Nadosic will be handling the Murdoch. We've got Master Splinter playing the Narbash this time around, and Involve playing a hero we don't really get to see a whole lot of in the Fae.
We've got Regal in the off lane playing Severog. Love this hero. Excited to see how this hero plays out in the off lane. Azibear in the mid lane on Gideon, ready to open up some breaches and deal all of the damage. Lucer playing Belica as support. The Doc is in the jungle playing Grux, and Ghost is on Drongo. Traditional lane setup here. We don't have that 2v1 or 2v2 lane setup coming out of these teams. They do have this traditional 2v1 safe lane setup on either side.
And to me, that sort of gives Reborn the advantage. They're definitely a lot better in the traditional setup, making sure that they can contest the objectives as much as possible. And this kind of traditional setup also benefits Jay Leo, who has been shut down in the jungle before when it comes to the duo mid. So he's going to be able to get his normal jungle clears going on here, and will be able to get his normal early game going.
Involve is going to, with his early game poke here from that Nettles, just going to be able to bully Azibear in and out of this lane. He has picked up a Tireless Reaper for his first card. Next ability costs 25% less to cast. So if he does end up missing out on one of those Nettles, he's not going to lose all of that mana. So good pickup. The mid lane, though, early, I got to give it to him. About the 7-minute, 8-minute mark, once we start seeing some levels of power coming online, I'm going to give it to Azibear with that amount of damage that comes out of that Void Breach.
And he already tried to get pretty aggressive with those in the early game, throwing them right on top of Involve. Does have the auto shield popped here, which could allow Jay Liu to get some stuff done. The rock is going to be picked up, but the smash and grab is going to pull him over. Jay Liu manages to pick up the black buff with the one shot there, and Involve Master Splinter have shown up for this. Are they actually going to be able to kill off Idek? He does manage to get pretty far away. The rock hits. It could be the first blood, and it indeed is. Azzy, no help there at all. Involve walks on over, doesn't get hit by the tower, and that's going to be the first blood taken by Reborn.
Gotta love the aggression coming out of these guys already. King of the early game. Allow them to get an advantage in the early game. They're going to snowball, and they're going to take this victory pretty quickly and pretty effectively. They pick up the first kill of the game. Reflect over here, trying to steal the gold buff from Lucer, and that's exactly what he does, being a bully in that lane. Azzy in the mid lane already forced to back off, +1 kill. Your black buff in the jungle is now gone, which means J. Leo Grande has both of those. It keeps you under-farmed, and it doesn't give you that advantage of sight. Nadosic is going to get hit by that smash and grab. They're going to be dealing significant damage there. It does look like he's going to fall. Master Splinter trying to come in and save the day. He's not able to do it. He just backs off, and Regal over here farming this lane. The change to last hitting. The change to last hitting has put Sevrog in a weird spot
Saw it right
because it
there.
makes it a little bit more difficult for him to pick up those soul stacks. Soul stacks are so important for this hero, but it gives him extra health, and it gives him extra damage on his Q. He's doing a pretty okay job right now, just waiting for those targets to be low enough for him to pick up those siphons. But he's going to have to focus very heavily on farming and making sure he's getting those kills.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting some messages over Discord that don't really make a whole lot of sense. But in any case, early
Did you
game.
break it?
I didn't break anything.
Way to go, buddy.
Thanks. I try, you know.
Early game is going to be
the cards.
Early game is going to be very difficult for Sevrog, purely because of the way that they changed last hitting in this game. He has picked up his possessed Sprite, and he's got an exoskeleton, so he's going to be able to be a bully. But in the past we saw good Sevrog players come online. They'd be at max stacks right around that 25-minute mark. I think we're going to see that change because how difficult it is the first 5 to 6 minutes of the game to pick up those stacks. Still going to be able to do it. Regal is a solid offlaner. We saw Regal be a bully in the last 2 games. Hopefully that trend continues. Azibear and Involve poking around a little bit here. That Void Breach is going to miss. Doc with the rotation from behind. I don't know if Involve sees this coming. If he does, he's got ways to escape with that brambles and whatnot. But Doc's got to be careful. He's just going to back off. Reflect being such a bully in this offlane over here, Pith. He's got his possessed Sprite online. He's level 5. So if he wants to go in and try and pick up one of those kills on Ghost, he's more than capable to get in, deal the damage he needs to deal, and hopefully get out before he gets stunned and possibly pick up a kill.
Oh, looks like we do have the rotation onto Regal. JWeo and Master Splinter can't quite hit with their initiation, though. Nice little Phantom Rush by Regal to get out of there. I do want to bring some attention to a card that Lucera has been picked up that could actually become a little bit more viable for supports. It's the Lord Volstock card, and that gives you more experience at the cost of gold. It was something that we used to see in the 5-man. Actually, Idek going on to Involve, who throws down the unstable growth. Idek manages to get away anyway. So back to that card. It gives you more experience at the cost of gold, which is actually pretty good for supports.
It's because it's not about the cards that supports kids. What makes a support is the kit and how they're able to utilize that. Bellica is more of a traditional mid laner. That's where we've seen her. But based on her kit, she has the ability to knock people up in the air, which allows her to help heal for her team. She has an ability that allows her to drain mana, so in an engagement, it's going to make it harder for the enemy team to use their abilities because they're going to be taking damage on top of losing their mana. And so you have this hero that gets those levels, and getting those levels is so important for a support because that's where their advantage comes from, is their kit and their ability to get levels. So it's a great card. The issue with this card, it's a cursed card. This card cannot be unequipped. So I would say hopefully these guys are able to pick up a lead fairly early, because at some point eventually that card is going to be kind of useless because he's going to hit max level, and now he's just losing gold.
And that would be quite unfortunate for Lucera, but I would still say that supports don't really need as much gold economy, especially when you're going for 2 cursed cards, as we've seen sometimes out of him. He picks up the possessed Spraken and then the Lord Volstock, and you're like, well, now I only need gold for 1 card or 1 set of ability attributes. So it's not as bad, I would say, if Lucera were to pick up that card.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't pick up possessed Spraken. Using Taskmaster to help set up his lanes over here so they don't have to push. So they're trying to stack up their minion waves, so when they make a push on that tower, they're able to deal something here. But again, you're dealing with Reflect, you're dealing with Shinbi, which is a nasty hero to try and fight into. They have two good ways to shut this hero down, with Ghost on Drongo and of course the knockup out of Reflect. So hopefully they'll be able to manage this hero a little bit better than we've seen others manage against Shinbi, because Shinbi has really been a pester. Regal in a lot of trouble over here. Rumbles are coming down on the top of this hero hard. Leo Grande pops his ultimate. He's got a thunk there that's going to land. He's going to smash his fist into the ground and destroy that hero. So kill going down on the Regal. Good rotation out of J. Leo Grande. They have the ability to push this tower here or go for a Fang Tooth. I expect them to push this tower and just hold off on the Fang Tooth as of this moment in time.
It was an interesting play there by Regal to hold that Phantom Rush for as long as he did. He really needed to use it at the right time to get out of danger, but Reborn have just so many crowd control abilities that it's kind of difficult for a Sevarog to get out of that situation without any kind of outside help. But still, we're at a point in the game where we're very close. Neither team really feels comfortable enough to go for kill Fangtooth. And it's leading to a pretty back and forth early game for each team.
I want to talk about Shipyard Scavenger on Gideon here. This is it's the guard that gives you lone bonus gold. You receive 450 bonus gold when you kill an enemy hero when there is no other enemy hero. In order for that card to be any sort of useful, he's got to start picking up some kills here. And unfortunately, he hasn't picked up one yet. But if he can pick up some kills on Faye in the mid lane here, it'll give that additional bonus gold, which can be very scary if you let that hero get a lead.
Yeah, that's a confidence card. I remember looking at that one quite a bit. I was like, yeah, bonus gold doesn't sound all that bad, but you have to be getting those kills. And as he is the kind of player who probably will end up getting those, but it's just so difficult. It is not a bad card necessarily. It doesn't give you much, but it's a level 1 card. It doesn't cost you all that much to get it. So it's just really taking space in a deck, and it's positive gold if you do manage to get that solo kill. So I don't know if there's too much of a downside to it, per se.
Such a chunk of damage when that Void Breach hits onto Involve. I feel like this is a great counter pick to that mid lane, Gideon. He's got good long-range poke with Nettles, significant damage, great lane clear, an ultimate that if used properly, if you expect that combo of, hey, he's about to rift in and then ult on top of my head, you pop Fly Trap and it pulls him out of the ultimate. So there's a lot of good ways for him to shut down Gideon here. They have a lot of ways actually to shut down Gideon. Master Splinter with the Thunk, Leo with the Boulder, and Involve with the Fly Trap. It's just making sure 5 people don't get caught in the ultimate.
Ooh, Black Hole by Azzy. It is time for that ultimate to finally come out. Lucer is putting a huge amount of damage onto it as well. They'll use the Neural Disruptor on the NATO sick of all heroes. Not really as effective as he tries to get out, but it's not really working out too well for him at all. Seismic Assault still goes out on the Involve. Ghost is making things happen as well, but Jay Leo goes around the backside and is able to get the kill onto Lucer. It's going to be a 2 for 2 in that lane with both supports going down.
Both supports fall. NATO sick falls on the side of Reborn, which I think is the bigger target here. Involve is in trouble. He's alone over here. Doc and Ghost are there. Look at the poke coming out of Nettles there. Continuing to poke. If he lands another one, that's going to be a kill. And Involve going to pick up that kill. Smash and grab into the tower. Knocks him up in the air. Involve taking a ton of damage here. Does he have the ability to kill him? He does. Rotation's coming. Doc's got to be careful. So we saw Involve fall, but Involve picks up a good kill onto Ghost. So now both of the carries, Marauders, have fallen. Raptors is a Fangtooth, sorry, being picked up by the side of Reborn here. They're trying to get aggressive on this.
Ooh, nice smash and grab by Idic. They're going to get the Void Breach on top of it as well, and the Meteors keep on falling from Azzy. He picks up another for himself as well. Seismic Assault from Lucer. They're going to pick up a 3 spot inside the jungle, and they're very close to Fangtooth. Do they decide to go for it? It's about half health right now, and they already have Ghost coming on in.
I mean, Drongo rotating in about half health. They're able to pick up this objective very easy. 5,000 gold swing in their favor. Power for everybody. Enjoy it. Take that. Picked up 3 kills. The amount of damage on Void Breach. Okay, so this is the reason I think we've seen this combo banned out a lot. Is you get that smash and grab on the targets. You drop a Void Breach on top of that, on top of a Void Bomb, and you're just blowing targets up. This is a nasty draft. This is going to be a nasty uphill battle for Reborn if they can combo those abilities together.
Reborn might need to rebound. Nice little misspoken words there. Actually makes sense.
I liked it. I approve. I approve this message. I have the amount of bugs I have on my screen right now, my friend, is very difficult for me to watch. Everybody is still on the map that's been killed, and nobody has health. Could we fix these bugs?
I mean, we could. Sure.
We don't have to.
Sure,
We don't
why
have
not?
to.
Well, I know some things that make it not really worth it to fix bugs right now. So, would you mind it if we keep going?
No, I'm good. I can make this work, brother.
All right, let's make it work.
I'll do that just for you.
I appreciate it.
Just for you. So Involve in the mid lane here, still poking away at Azzy. We see 3 people. Are they? What are we doing over here in the jungle, guys?
Looks like they're just going on through. Native
They just
Sick,
want the
Involve,
tower.
Master Splinter. Oh, a nice smash and grab by Idek with the Seismic Assault on top. They're all getting knocked around by Idek. Crash Bang Boom is going to come down. There's also the ultimate from Faye going right on to Idek. They're going to turn around. Jay Wheel manages to find the kill, but it's also going to be Master Splinter falling as well. Jay Wheel still looking huge. Now he's out of his ultimate, trying to go on to Ghost. Has enough mana for a rock, but the rocks are still dropping on his head. The long the wall actually not going to find Ghost there. Nado's like a little bit off the mark with that one. Azzy Bear wants to go on to Jay Wheel. The rock comes through. It's not going to find anything. And now Reflect is coming on, trying to find somebody in the jungle, but there's just nobody there saying hi to him. His fans have completely left the building.
And that's what you get for showing up to the party late, Reflect. Everybody's gone. So, good engagement coming out of both of these teams. Good engagement coming out of both of these teams. NATO has not landed a long arm law yet. 0 for 2. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out. Feels bad. You should feel bad about it. I can't believe you just pointed that out because now I have to call him out. But great smash and grab from Doc. This is scary. This is scary for these guys. Double smash and grab, Void Breach. When Deathcrawler comes online, it's a smash and grab into a double pain, which is at minimum 6 million, 0.3 damage. Which is a lot of damage if you're playing Paragon. And then a Void Breach on top of that, and if you combo it with Lucaire, that's 2 or 3 dead targets instantly, and there's nothing Reborn's going to be able to do about it.
Taking a look at the cards situation right now, we are having a bunch of Flame of Seconds being built up on both sides. It's a total of 7 on the field right now. And we also have a Blitz Rush on Involve. That's kind of interesting for the Fae to be picking that up.
I've seen a lot of mid laners use Blitz Rush to help them escape the smash and grab, to help them escape boulders. It's a card that I'm seeing a lot more use. It also helps them. It's like a blink, if you will.
Smash and
Reflect
grab on
going
the
on the top
Reflect.
here.
Seismic Assault is there as well. The rocks start coming down from Azzy. He's going to get the Black Hole out on the 3, but Involve is there with the Interrupt as well. Jay Leo is now able. Okay. So I think you're frozen as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do know what happened here. The game actually completely crashed for the players. Every single player got kicked from the game, and it crashed for every single one of them. So that was why I didn't fix the replay bugs. Take that, Twitch chat. And we'll be back to see if we can get into the actual game number 1 of this series as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching. This is the PCL 11, and we'll be back after a short break.
Gentlemen, we are back. Game number 1, take 2. We had a game-breaking bug in game number 1. All 10 players crashed. We're not able to rejoin. So we let them reform the match. Normally, that's not how that is would be handled, but we decided because it was only about 15 minutes into the game, no clear winner, that we would reform the match. Drafts are still the exact same. Drafts have not changed. So we're jumping back into game number 1. Stuff happened in the first time we saw this. Let's see if they can perfectly mirror this and make that exact same stuff happen.
I would actually be really impressed if we saw the teams completely reenact the first 15 minutes of the last game, so that we didn't have to like every single last hit down to the millimeter. But
if they don't, both of them are disqualified and Arctic Wolves wins.
Oh man. That would be a change of fate right there.
People would be super happy about it.
They would.
Crazy Fool would be happy about it. Just showing some love to the teams we enjoy. Azzy is still getting poked out in this mid lane here because of Involve and Nettles. His shield is going to pop. I feel
That's
like
actually the same exact thing from game 1.
I feel like we've seen this before. No rotation from Doc this time, though. So Azibear is just going to back here. Because he needs to be safed. Jaleo Grande is not in the enemy jungle, taking the enemy black buff at this point. So they're not copying what's happening. I'm disappointed. Both of these teams are disqualified. Thank you guys for watching PCL. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next PCL.
Although we are seeing IDEC actually go around to try to contest his black buff against Jaleo here, both of them with the green buff. So, I mean, I would say that
did not work out at all for Doc.
It still didn't work out at all. Like, still, it's Reborn taking the first blood on the same exact tier. Is this the same game? Is this the same game, Nacho? Are we stuck
No,
in
they're
a
on
loop?
different. They're on different times of the map. They're on different sides of the map this time, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Who knows? Oh man, Paragon.
I'm not 100%. We'll find out in 17 minutes 15 seconds if this is the same game.
I guess we will.
Doc is going to get killed. He doesn't get his black buff. Leo has it, which means he has vision, which means he has the slow, which means he has control. He's rotating over for Regal. Are we watching the same game? He's rotating over. And if he misses this boulder and the Thunk misses, it's the same game. Thunk lands, boulder misses, Regal shadow walks
he went
away.
The other way. Okay, I think this is a different game.
It has to be.
Subject is gonna hit, and IDEC is here to make things happen as well. But Regal's gonna get hit by the Thunk, finally by Master Splinter, and that will be the death this time going to Reborn. What is happening?
Yeah, Reborn. This is Regal gets killed. He's dead. Early game aggression coming out of Reborn. We talked about this earlier. Early game for Reborn. This is one of the reasons. So, those of you who watched Agoro's Rising, those of you who watched in the past, there was a team called Triangle Formation.
Oh, that
Triangle
one.
Formation. Triangle Formation. If you all know we're biased towards Triangle Formation here, was a team that was the king at early game aggression, and they just dominated everybody early game. Straight out of Agora, which was Reborn's first name, came back, and we saw these guys start to adopt. I'm not going to say copy Triangle Formation's gameplay, but they started to adopt the early game aggression, and they actually became the masters of the early game aggression. And they started beating up on Triangle Formation because they would put Triangle Formation behind in those early days of Agora's Rising, because of them just getting so proficient with the early game aggression. And now this is the team right here, Reflect, against trying to get out.
Void Bomb isn't going to work, but Ghost and Lucer are right next to him. Can Reflect get away? Leo gets into the fight. He's going to put down the Rumble. Ghost is trying to get him slowed down. There's a second assault, and Leo's picking up the rock, trying to decide which target he really wanted to go on. Couldn't find either. That's going to lead to just the Shinbi kill by Guile.
So Reflect is going to get killed. Picked up. Both of those guys escape. Leo Grande takes that gold buff. But Reborn is now this team with this early game aggression. We see them invade early. We see them rotate early, especially Leo. Leo is such a fantastic shot caller. And they're able to pick up these early game kills. One thing that Reborn struggles with, though, is if the team is able to either be also aggressive and really try and counter that aggression with aggression, or denies them those early game kills. And as of this moment in time, Guile Esports is not denying the early game kills. They're allowing Reborn to really pick up these kills and get that lead, which eventually will mean free Fangtooths, free gold, free power, free buffs. Because Leo Grande, as you can see, again, continuing the aggression, picks up the green buff. He's going right to Doc's black buff. He wants to pick this up. I don't think he's going to get here in time, but he is going to try. Black buff picked up by Doc. Leo's here. He has the green buff, while Doc does not. And Leo's just going to back off at this moment in time.
So IDEC at least able to get a little bit earlier over to the black buff. That'll give him a little bit of vision of the map and should help Regal out a little bit in the off lane for the time being. Seeing some of these rotations coming around, might also be able to clear a ward if he gets over to that area. But I don't know, this game feels just a little bit slightly different from the last one in that Reborn are almost taking the information that they learned from that remake and kind of applying it to the actual game one here. Like, they're playing the lane slightly better. They're not giving in to Guile's aggression, and I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this actually works out.
Who can adapt better?
Right.
You have 17 minutes of game knowledge that you took from game number 1. You got to see how these guys played. You got to see how they set up their lanes. And like you said, Reborn has adapted, and they're playing around it. They're playing the lane setup much better, or the aggression, the rotations much better, and also the way they're playing their lanes. They saw the aggression coming out of these guys, and they've just been able to counter that. Guys, the team names at the top are wrong,
I
Pith,
just
and
changed
chat is
it.
officially losing their mind.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can hit 3 buttons and change the team names
Involve
around.
is in some trouble in the mid lane here. He's stunned up. Doc is also taking some damage from Leo Grande. 2 ultimates going down to deal with Involve. Leo Grande comes in, pops that ultimate. Doc's able to get out, as he's able to get out, but they do pick up a kill on Involve in the mid lane here.
I'm so sorry, Notch.
Did you miss it? Did you miss all of it?
No, I got it. Don't worry about me.
Making sure.
Yeah, I can't switch team names around. My bad. No, we weren't watching somebody back. I wasn't watching the wall either. Although there are some really interesting things on the walls if you actually look at them a little bit. Like, it's pretty cool.
There's a lot of neat art on the walls and whatnot.
I love the walls.
Walls are the best. Tier 1 tower is going to fall. NATO Sick, Master Splinter picking up that tower. Regal over here, he is trying to do his best at this stack game. He's got his tier 1 shoulders on, which means he's got at least 10 stacks. At minimum 10 stacks. Reflect being a bully in this lane. His tier 1 tower is still standing. Circle rhythm, getting all of the healing, doing all of the things, keeping that tower alive. This may be a benefit for Regal. If he's able to freeze this lane and just sit here and farm for a little bit, he can get those stacks and really become a nuisance because of the way he scales into the late game. Reborn looking for... Are they looking for? Do they want a Fangtooth? Doc going after a purple buff. He's going to get it. There's just too much damage there. It doesn't even matter. Doc, you may be invisible, but you're dead, bro!
Yeah, that was pretty close with the Fae fields going down. So we do see some slightly different cards coming out, and maybe a Fangtooth early from Reborn now. Not sure how many claim seconds we actually have up. Leo is taking some damage from this one, but he does have his ultimate available. He's taking some damage from the Fangtooth, though. It's still hitting him, and the Void Bomb is going to do some huge, massive damage to our Rampage. Regal gets the Colossal Blow out onto Involve. He's knocked into the wall here as he's looking to get a Black Hole on the backside of this one, knowing that Involve's probably been already taken care of, and they'll just smack the Fae in the face there and pretty easily take a nice fight around Fangtooth this time around.
Ghost is going to fall, but Involve and Leo Grande go down. Guile gives themselves that. The big thing is Fangtooth has not been killed yet. So they are at a gold deficit. It's 47,000 in favor of Reborn to 40,000 on Guile Esports. That would have been another 5,000 swing in favor of Reborn. The big thing is there, yes, they may have lost Ghost. They picked up 2 kills. Fangtooth stays alive. They don't lose out on that 5,000 gold, and they don't lose out on that. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in total Zechins on the map.
We also have the usual Lord Volstock on Lucer, which puts him at level 8 over NATO 6 level 6. A pretty massive level advantage for the support Velka.
Yeah, again, getting those levels online, maximizing your hero's kit is important for a support, and that's exactly what that Lord Volstock does. Reborn wants this Fangtooth.
Yeah, they do want it. And meanwhile, Reflect is making sure that Regal is having the same kind of fate that he saw in the earlier series, or that he gave to Asura in the earlier series today, where he just kind of makes the enemy offlaner have to stay in the offlane with him, and Reflect's the one putting the pressure on the Regal right now with the shimmy. That's just what that hero enables you to do right now in version 44.
I actually like the way Lucer plays these supports. The Volstock card is not a card we see a lot of. He's going to die. As I say
he's
this,
gonna fall in the river. Just as you say that you like him, it's like Reborn are just not caring at all what you like and say, you know what, if you like it, we're going to kill it anyway.
And that's exactly what they do. They kill it with fire. They've got their Zech. The Zech is online. They're going to be pulling up, picking up this Fangtooth pretty easily, uncontested at this point. Massive swing in their favor. Does fall.
Ooh, lots of damage
61,000
going
to
in the mid lane.
46,000.
I think that was almost something that Guile knew they really couldn't contest at all. It involved taking quite low, as he's going to get away anyway, though. After that, Rock just flies on through from J. Leo. Could have been a really good one if that Dark Rift hadn't happened in time.
So, with these curse cards, Louis, I think, is the only person I've seen run double curse cards. Volstock into Possess Spriken. I've never seen another support player pick those up. It really has worked out for him. That third card, what's the third card he picks up? I know he switches out Lamplighter, but he's not going for a growth totem because he's constantly picking up wards.
I feel like
he also
domain
have
of stillness
growth.
is always the thing that Lucer goes for, because we keep on seeing it time and time again from Guile Esports. Every single time there's a big cryo, a big black hole. Sorry, there's Lucer with a domain of stillness. So I feel like that's usually his third card that he goes for.
Yeah. So he's getting the power levels. He has the regen, and then he's got that big card to help save his team in these engagements.
Ooh, looks like we're gonna have a bit of a wraparound on the Nadosik. He's managing to stay alive for now, trying to avoid all the shots, but the Void Bomb and the Neuro Disruptor from Lucer really taking advantage of those levels are gonna make sure that Nadosik is punished for trying to play on his own here. The push will continue from Ghost and Lucer. They still want to keep this lane pushing in on the Master Splinter, who is now the only one here to defend the tier 1 tower. Doing a pretty good job of chunking it on down, and it will fall, giving Guile Esports their first tower of the game, making it even at 1 tower to 1 so far. Still keeping a close eye on this mid lane matchup between Azzy and Involve. It's all about who can hit those skill shots just a little bit better, and then maybe those junglers will decide to rotate at some point.
I mean, whenever they're ready, they're going for a tier 1 tower here. Rotation coming in, 4-man in the mid. This tier 1 tower in the mid lane should fall pretty easily, uncontested. Regal also making a play, trying to pick up a tower from Reflect.
Careful.
He's done a very good job stacking. We're 14 minutes into the game. He's got his tier 2 shoulders online. He dealt significant damage to that, and Reflect really hasn't been able to get as much poke as he would like because of Possess Spriken. And then Green Spring. Green Spring activates while you're out of combat, so it allows him to back up and get that healing when he's no longer taking damage. He does replace it for Numbing Rogue, but he is going to have a way to deal with Reflect here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this lane continues to progress as we get through the game. A lot of people said this patch basically killed off Sevarog. I think Regal's making a statement that no, this hero seems to be doing okay. Fangtooth is going to spawn again. Reborn already positioned around that, knowing how strong this buff is and this objective is. They really want to make sure they're getting full advantage and utilizing this buff appropriately.
And surprisingly, Guile haven't been as vigilant about keeping up the warding around this area and haven't been as good at contesting it. They're letting the Fangtooth get extremely low. Jiggly is going to be forced off of it for now, trying to take down the drone. Seismic hits on the Master Splinter, taking him quite low with the Void Breach as well as the Void Bomb coming in there from Lucer as he getting taken very low. Has to Dark Rift his way out. Meanwhile, we've got Reflect going ham with the Circle Rhythm, almost taking down Idek, really splitting apart this fight. So we're going to have Drongo surrounded by pretty much everybody. Ghost has been taken down. We've got 3 heroes dead on Guile, and Regal was just completely nullified by Reflect's positioning there.
Yeah, 3 big targets, Azzy, Lucer, and Ghost, all down. Second Fangtooth of the match going over the side of Reborn. That's a travel mode activated. 10% movement speed when not in combat. This allows them to chase. This allows them to just surprise you out of the jungle. So another tier 1 tower is going to fall. Reborn playing very well this time around. Game number 1 was a little bit more even. Game 1.5, Reborn is playing really well. They're controlling the objectives. They've picked up it's 2 towers to 2 towers, but 2 Fangtooths down on the side of Reborn here. They've got a 73,000 to 66,000 gold lead as of this moment in time.
Yeah, Reborn with these couple of Fangtooths that they've taken have managed to give themselves a little bit more separation from Guile. The kill score, not really that emphatic for either side, but we do see the net worth really stacking up for Reborn, and although it isn't insurmountable at this point, they're definitely showing a lot better teamwork when it comes to these fights, and Reflect is having more of an impact than Regal right now, which has really been the difference maker between these two teams. So I guess we're just going to have to wait for when Guile can have a Sevrog that is big, tanky, and in charge. Lucer's going to get hit by a rock, completely wiped away on the mid lane, but the black hole on top of everything. I think trying to put some damage down, but it doesn't really seem like it's there at all from Guile. Faye manages to pick up Azzy with that ult, and now he's going to get controlled out of it as well. Ghost trying to put down some damage, but it's not happening at all. 4 dead on Guile. It looks somewhat okay, but in the end, Guile really just couldn't make it happen, and Jay Leo, devastating as always, is going to slide his way down on into the OP area.
So we saw the big thing in that engagement with this being taken, or probably being taken quickly. Hello, it's dead already? What? 4 Zechins will do that, I guess. Big thing we saw is Void Breach missed for Azzybear. Azzybear hit that ultimate. They smashed and grabbed. By the time Azzybear casted the Void Breach, it actually did not hit anybody, and the damage was not there for his team. And of course, the lack of follow-up on his side made Reborn able to continue that engage, pick up all the kills, and then pick up the Orb Prime and give them what I would say the true power play, having Orb Prime activated and 2 Fangtooths activated. This is the power play they needed.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
This is going to be a hard defense for the side of Guile Esports.
It will. They're really going to have to work hard for the next 3 minutes to try to combat the OP buff that Reborn have. You see this push coming down through the left side. Also Reflect making sure that the right lane is set as much as possible. He's just going to pick up the gold buff and keep that lane pushing in. It's all hands on deck right now for Guile Esports to try to defend this tier 2 tower, and things haven't been looking good for them at all in the last couple of fights. Azzybear is going to have to come up big once again, and the team has to be able to put some kind of damage behind it. We'll see if they can do so. Reborn, they're still so ready. They're waiting for Reflect to actually get to that tier 2 tower and force Regal to hard commit onto it as well.
Do you think that reset and having them restart this match put Guile Esports at a disadvantage?
Well, they both agreed to it, and I think that's the main thing. Both teams agreed to the restart, reportedly. So, wow, Lucer getting pretty much caught out and completely killed off there. Ida getting the smash and grab out onto Involve. He is going to be
good black hole on
good black hole saving him, though, for at least a couple seconds. Ghost wants to get in, but Azzybear is going to be blown up as well, as he really doesn't have any kind of backup here, and Ghost is going to be taken out of the game as well. Back to the restart. Both teams agreed to it, and that's kind of the situation there. Even though in the rules, you would have to go to net worth or something to figure out the victor in the original game number 1. Both teams agreed to it. I believe that this is the most fair way of doing things. So we are just playing the remake out, which Reborn are dominating right now.
Reborn are, I mean, I maybe they heard me say that I think Guile Esports is one of the best teams in the competitive play right now. I didn't call them the best. I called them one of the best, and Reborn came in and said, look, we're the best, and we're going to show you why. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They're dominating this match. Lucer out of position, getting picked up. Doc tried to get a smash or grab, died, or ended up living, but Azzybear sacrificed himself with that good ultimate. Another Fangtooth picked up. That's number 4. Inhibitor is down. And at this moment in time, Reborn is just walking all over these guys.
Yeah, Reborn with a pretty massive change here, and they're playing pretty dominant style, which we've come to expect from them as well. I mean, they are definitely not one of the best Paragon teams right now for no reason. They are Reborn, and they're definitely the team to beat for a lot of newer teams on the scene, and many established ones as well. And they're definitely showing why here. Reflect continuing to push in on the right lane. I mean, they had the OP buff for a while. They've got all the Fangtooth control. This is a pretty dominant Reborn side that I think is going to be difficult for Guile Esports to beat this time around.
Yeah, and the gold lead, 118.84. 118,000. is just they're putting on a clinic right now. They're putting on a clinic.
Yeah,
Proper
absolutely.
rotations, ganks. They're capitalizing on the enemy team being out of place. I mean, Lucer's been caught 3 or 4 times here, just not being in position, and they're showing you. You make those mistakes, we're going to capitalize, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yep, they take down their second tier 2 tower of the game. Reflect still putting the pressure on the right lane, and Reborn are almost right now trying to decide if they want to go for the inhib or try to take down Regal over at right. They're keeping control of the mid lane, making sure that these lanes are pushing in onto Guile, giving them as little breathing room as possible. And I think the call is going to be to go right down the mid lane, straight for the jugular of Guile, and try to take this game number 1 of the grand final. Here comes Azzy. He's going to blink on in for a 3-man black hole. There's going to be no interrupt here. Can the Doc get anything done? They do blow up 2. Regal's going to fall. Jay Lee is now into the fight. Ghost has to back away from him. Reflect finally getting here as well. Can the fight be split up enough for Reborn to win it? Jay Leo still going after Ghost. There's going to be a Void Bomb trying to slow him down, but he's still regenning way too much for Lucer to take care of him. The Rock is going to get hit, and even though 2 members ended up going down, Nadosic is still alive, Reflect is still up, the damage dealers for Reborn are still around. That's going to lead to Ghost death and probably another inhib taken down. Only Lucer left to defend the core against the impending minion wave.
Yeah, that was a good split by these guys. Leo Grande jumping in the back line and just they caused everybody to back up. Nadosic was in the back, being chased down by Azzy Bear. Azzy Bear landed a Void Breach, but Reflect rotated in, was able to keep Doc off of Nadosic. It caused Azzy Bear to retreat. They pick up 2 inhibitors at this point while Ghost is still respawning. Really good separation and splitting up the team there on the side of Reborn and allowing players to capitalize. This is Fangtooth number 746 for the side of Reborn.
It's definitely getting up there. Another Reborn Fangtooth. They've been dominating this entire game. And honestly, I think that Guile need to just kind of sit back, let the minions end and say, you know what, we'll go to game number 2 because we're not really in a position here to win this one out, and we can come out with a better strategy for game 2. I think they've definitely got it in them to come back. It's been a hard series already for both teams with that crash happening in the vanilla game number 1, as I guess I'll have to call it now. And I think that both teams are really just due for a reset at this point. Maybe Guile can bring it back in game 2.
After watching this performance from Reborn, we know it's not over yet, but after watching this performance out of Reborn, what does Guile have to do in game number 2? How do they come back from this? Is it a matter of them not controlling the buffs? Was it a matter of them not respecting the rotations? What do they have to do?
I think the issue is that Guile just let Reborn play their game way too much. They didn't put any kind of pressure on them early, which is really one of the keys to beating Reborn. If you can take advantage of Jay Leo's kind of, you know, just farming jungle style, if you can really put the pressure on to Reborn, maybe even bringing back the dual mid for Guile.
Reflect with aggression on the Doc here. He's chasing him down. Rego's gonna land that ultimate, but all kills, saying, "Ooh, wrong, mother," and took him out. Look at Reflect continuing to be aggressive. He knows he has the sustain, and he knows his team is following up behind him. Able to pick up Doc. Lucer again out of position and stunned. That's the 5th time he has been out of position, and Reborn has capitalized on it. Leo Grande landing a boulder, followed up by a boulder from Master Splitter. There's the black hole from Azzy Bear, but it's just not enough. A little too late. Core is going to fall. Reborn playing so well. Guile Esports taking their first loss of the event. Reborn with a dominating performance. Guys, that was game number 1.
Oh,
impressed with Reborn's gameplay right now. I am impressed with Reborn's gameplay. They've got about a 40,000 gold lead. They picked up 5 Fangtooths. They capitalized on poor positioning on the side of Guile Esports. You got to give it up for that gameplay from Reborn.
Yeah, they definitely showed why they are one of the top teams in Paragon. Reborn showing a lot of dominance in game number 1, but game number 2, like I said, there are a plethora of things that Guile Esports can do to turn things around. They can pick a different lineup. They can go with a different type of lane composition. I think this is not the last that we've seen of Guile Esports in this series. We do have game number 2. It's going to be coming up soon, Notch, and I think Guile will be ready for it.
I think they will as well. Game number 2 is going to be, I think we're going to see a very close game number 2. Guile Esports, we've seen them adapt time and time again. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for supporting Competitive Paragon. If you want to support these teams, !Matcherino in chat. Head over there. You can use the coupon codes in the bottom corner that are it's in one of these corners down here. It's a free $1. All of the prize money goes to both of first and second place. 100% of what we earn in that prize pot goes to these teams. PCL does not take any of that. We're here to just try and help grow the scene, nurture the scene, and give these top players a platform to play at the highest skill level they can. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with game number 2.